One of the major storylines of the 2025 Sun Devil football season was, unfortunately, injuries, but that in turn gave way to opportunities. And with star safety and team leader Xavion Alford went down for the season due to injury, a significant void was left in the secondary. But newcomer Adrian Boogie Wilson stepped in, stepped up, and helped ASU on to a successful season. He's now poised to be a key and veteran presence on this revamped Sun Devil defense. On this episode, Boogie and I discuss how he took advantage of the opportunity, his football journey, the origin of the Boogie nickname, the new look secondary, and so much more. So let's get to it. Here's my conversation with Boogie Wilson. All right, Boogie, I'm going to start off with a question from a teammate. This one's coming from tight end AJ. He wants to know who you think is the best bowler on the team.
Me. I think I'm the best, honestly. No, I think it's either me or James Giggy. Not AJ. AJ is good, but he's not the best.
Yeah, he mentioned like there's kind of like a growing group of guys on the team that are taking up bowling as a hobby. Are you in that group as well?
Yes, I actually am. I use James' ball a lot. I use Giggy's ball a lot. Like, he literally just asked me the other day if I wanted to buy the ball because I use it so much.
What's your personal best game?
222.
Oh wow, okay. And so AJ was saying kind of Giggy's probably maybe like the current team champ. Is that would you correspond with that?
I've been bowling with him in a while, but Giggy is good. But I think I'm better than him, so I think I'm the people's champ. But you know, and they go bowling together a lot.
Okay, and like 222 is a hell of a good game. Would you say bowling's your best secondary sport outside of football, or is there something else that you excel at?
I think bowling is the second best. It's the one I most enjoy outside of it. I also like ping pong, but I'm not really good with that right now because obviously my shoulder surgery and things of that nature.
Of course, yeah, and so that kind of leads into the next question. Of course, you know, you battled through the last season, played very well, and you know, of course, I got dinged up a little bit. How are you feeling right now? Is spring ball still a few weeks away?
I'm feeling good. You know, I'm very excited to see what the team is and to see what we can become. But for the most part, me, myself, and I feel very, very good. And my body feels actually very good as well. Been working out, been working hard.
So in the middle of the offseason kind of workout with, you're amongst the group of returners, but a lot of new faces there in Tempe as well. How would you kind of, summarize the overall team vibe of just, kind of the returners and welcoming in these newcomers?
I would say everybody's getting along well. I think a lot of the older, like the returners, are getting closer than what we were. Like a lot of us, I would say, like we had our own groups, and like a lot of the groups have broken up because of like people leaving, people graduating. So now like we're all like kind of not forced, but we're all kind of like around each other more and like actually hanging out with each other more, and involving each other. And then the newcomers are just fitting in like little perfect pieces at this point, and everything's just going smoothly.
Now, you have the experience of being a newcomer and transfer just a year ago. So how, now that you're kind of on the other side of the coin here, how have you taken that experience of having gone through and kind of, come to a new destination to, help maybe bring those guys in and acclimate them to the Sun Devil standard?
I would say like a lot of guys that have transferred are kind of like upperclassmen. So like they kind of understand like the landscape of like college football. I think it's more so just like them understanding the landscape of Tempe, Arizona, and how Scottsdale is an amazing place, and just all the things we have accessibility to is just something like not something that is normal in a sense. And then for like the freshmen that are coming in now, I'm just trying to be like a big brother and help them grow into into their own person, and like tell them rights from wrongs and what not to do, because obviously I made the same mistakes because I was in their position at one point. So for the most part, just trying to be a big brother, trying to be a helping hand to whoever I can help.
One of those new guys is a fellow safety in Lyric Rawls. Of course, with Boogie and Lyric, are you guys, how musically inclined is the safety tandem?
I mean, I would say we're very musically inclined. We like what we like, and then also, I would say for the most part, we're the ones singing or making some type of move in the weight room during the lifts when the music's on.
Okay, it seems like that tandem has some great nickname possibilities given the musical inclinations there as well. So I want to look back at this past year, your first as a Sun Devil, of course. Spending time at Wazoo for a while, then coming back down here. What were some of the biggest adjustments? Making that kind of jump from Pullman to Tempe.
I would say the biggest adjustments is outside of football, just like the lifestyle and the people. Because like in Pullman, I would wake up, I'd go to the facility, live, do whatever we have, meetings, whatnot, school, and then go home and be in the house all day after that. And here, it's like I can do so much with all my friends, like bowling, like we just go to each other's house, play the game, go to Target with each other, go to the mall, go get food, and like a lot of that stuff I didn't have in Pullman. So like now I would just say like the lifestyle is just so much different and so much better. But like when it comes to football, both places we worked hard, we worked our butts off. Here it's in the heat, there it was in the snow. So it's just like we're working.
And of course, last season you had one of the team leaders returning first team All Big 12 safety in X. And then he goes down. Unfortunately, you had that was some big shoes to fill, but you jumped in there and held that standard. What was that like? Obviously, having to step in and replace not just one of the team leaders on the field, but one of the most vocal guys off the field as well.
Um, I would say like the whole time though, I kind of like played my role. Like I didn't try to ever overstep and try to be something I wasn't. I was just me the whole time. It just happened that I had the opportunity to play because of the unfortunate events of X and what happened with X. But for the most part, it was just like normal for me. Like I just went in and played ball, and like everyone just clinged to what I had to say whenever I had something to say, and then I would say also like our coaches helped a bunch. Like they didn't expect too much from me in a sense, but they also didn't expect less. Like they knew what I can do. Like that's why they brought me in. They knew what I can do. They knew who I am and what I could bring to the team, and I just happened to showcase it the times that after I got the availability to showcase.
And then, of course, you step in and you play well, and you have a number of big plays throughout the course of the season. Now that you've had some time to, kind of maybe look back upon the season, how would you evaluate your performance in your first year in the maroon and gold?
Um, I would say I had my moments. I had some highs and some lows. I would say I missed so many tackles. I I kind of tried to use my body more than actually wrapping up because of obviously my arm stuff. So I think now I'm gonna build off of that and actually wrapping up and actually being physical on the point of contact. Being more of a vocal leader, and yeah, that's from what I can see right now. What I'm working on.
What were some of your favorite moments throughout the course of the 2025 season?
My favorite moment. I would say being down 17 to TCU was a good moment for me. Just to see how like we all like no one was shook, no one was upset, no one was rattled. We all were just like, they literally the first three drives, they literally threw haymakers. You can't throw haymakers the whole game. So it was like, you know what? They showed us what they have. Now let's show them what we got.
And
And
then the way you guys closed that game out, I believe, you forced three turnovers in that fourth quarter,
yep.
total yards allowed. I mean, that's a pretty damn good ratio. What do you attribute, that ability that you guys showed throughout the course of the season, whether it was those early deficits, but always being in there, overcoming adversity, and always being able to usually kind of rally back and getting those back in those games?
I would say a lot of us have like the underdog story or the story where no one really believed in us or no one really like wanted us out of wherever we came from. And I think that is always why we fought so hard, no matter the circumstances and no matter the adversity. Because it's like the only people that ever believed in us is us at one point in life. And so now we got a group of people that's have the same goals, want the same things. And now we all know we come from the same exact situations. So we're gonna believe in each other. And so it was more so like about believing in each other and understanding that we got each other's back.
Now, having that ability to overcome adversity, that resiliency, that was kind of a hallmark of not just last year's team, but the 2024 Big 12 champs as well. As one of the returners, and team leaders, how do you kind of make sure that same kind of character and resiliency is able to kind of go into this 26 group of Sun Devils?
I think it comes with hard work at that point because a lot of players like it's not this. I'm not gonna say it's not the same, but a lot of kind of the new players either were highly recruited at one point or they know what it's like to be on top. And I feel like for us, like for like last year's team and the team before that, I think for the most part, a lot of them didn't know what it was like. All they knew what it was like to be underrated or to be said that they're not going to be something or certain things of that nature. So I think now it's more so like we have the opportunity to be the best. So we need to work like we are the best and understand the fact of just because we're working and all these things, the outcome doesn't like how hard we work needs to be the same every day, no matter the outcome. And so I think the whole thing for us is just coming to work every day and making sure we are process driven and not the outcome driven.
And of course, your last year you got to play for a guy in Kenny Dillingham. You mentioned, the hard work that he expects in the Sun Devil football program, but a guy who also likes to have a lot of fun. What kind of impact on your life and your career has Kenny had so far?
I think Kenny had a huge impact. Coming from Washington State, it was more so like for me, it was like this is a job. Like this is like I got to do this to make it out. I got to do this. Like no matter how hard it is, no matter how much like mentally like it sucked. Like I'm doing this because of the ending. Like no, like here I wake up and I'm having fun struggling. I'm having fun bending something. I'm having fun. Like understanding that this is hard. Like this sucks, but we gonna compete and have fun doing it.
Hmm.
So I
What
think like that. I think that mindset just in life, like understanding like there's gonna be ups and downs in life. Like you're gonna go through trials and tribulations in life. If you attack it like, oh, this is just another challenge. Like this ain't nothing. This is like a competition in the sense that you're gonna get far in life.
what's your favorite Kenny story? It seems like everybody's got some sort because obviously a guy who likes to have fun, kind of out there, but obviously you're very focused on the process of being great.
The funniest Kenny Dillingham story. He has a lot of good stories. Like there's just a lot. Like he just does on a daily. Um, I have like a couple. So one is just like when I was getting recruited, I was like, so I was obviously in the portal. I was scrolling on TikTok, and you know how like the algorithms work. Like
Yeah.
something's gonna pop up. Well, my favorite artist is Raw Wave. And I'm scrolling on TikTok, and one of the TikToks that pop up is Coach Dillingham on Instagram Live screaming, driving, and listening to Raw Wave or whatnot. I'm like, he's a great guy. Like he knows something, right? Then I think it was like January or February / March of last year. We walk in a facility and he has on like ghosts. I think he has like ghosts. He has ghosts like on his pants, on his pajamas, if I'm not mistaken. He has somebody on his pajamas, and he's like clothing pieces of like people's faces, and I'm just like, he's amazing. Like, no, not a lot of people, not a lot of coaches gonna be doing that. Like,
Yeah.
they're not gonna come in here and act like a real person, have a personality. They want like they're not. He's not. I would say he's not trying to be something he's not, and I feel like that's like the biggest thing. It's like I'd rather play for somebody who's truly him the whole time than somebody that has to turn off and on the switch when they like when they're in coaching mode or whatnot.
Yeah, that authenticity has been, obviously such a key why he's been able to connect with the players, coaches, people
Exactly.
throughout the community.
Exactly.
From a player's perspective, he also gives you guys that same license to be authentic and be yourselves. Some
Yeah.
coaches maybe run more, disciplinarian type of programs, but Kenny trusts you guys to be yourself. How empowering is that? And maybe, or do you see any maybe ultimate impacts on like team performance of just having a bunch of guys who can come together but also still be themselves?
I think it has a big impact, like because I know in this life a lot of people don't get what they want. Like when it comes to just college athletics, like a lot of them don't. Like a lot of people come here with dreams and aspirations, and majority of the country is probably never going to touch the field, right? And so here, I feel like no matter if you're touching the field or not, you're enjoying the whole process. Like yes, obviously you're gonna want to play. Yes, you're gonna want to be the star or whatnot, but I can definitely say you're gonna be here and you're gonna love life as a whole. And there's like a lot of places you can't say that. Like their performance on the field determines how their life is or whatnot. And I feel like here, just because of you're able to be yourself, you're able to just be you. Like you're able to even when you're not playing your best or playing at all, you're still happy and you're still able to succeed in life in a sense.
So I want to go back to the start of your football journey. How did you first get involved with football and first kind of start playing the game?
I have an older brother, so it was just me and my older brother, and we would just be like in like the yard, like we used to live in these apartments, and we used to like be in like I guess you could say like a courtyard, just playing football with everybody, and a lot of the kids around our age were like getting into football, right? And so we finally moved away from the little apartments or whatnot, and my mom was like, "Y'all need to make a way to find friends or whatnot, and we need to instill discipline or whatnot." 'Cause my mom was also a single mom as well, so one thing led to another. We seen like a little sign, like passing like a CVS or like a Target or whatnot, and my mom took a picture or wrote down the number of the sign of the football team or whatnot, and one thing led to another. Now I'm here.
So how old were you when you first started playing?
Seven, 7 or 8.
Okay. Did you take to the game right away, or take some time to kind of warm up to football?
Actually, I kind of took to it right away. My first position ever was tight end and defense end, so I was always in the mix, making a tackle because there was really no throwing the ball at that point. It was really
What
more so tackle. I mean, just tackling. Yeah.
do you remember your first touchdown as a tight end, or your first big play, or first sack as a DN?
Actually, I had a couple great ones, but I was at my first. So I was playing DN and tight end, and then I know they're like, you know what? Let's put in a running back. My first ever carry. It was like a 3 yard touchdown, but it was a touchdown. My first ever carry was a touchdown.
Nice. And so, of course, with the great nickname Boogie, what's the origins? What's the origin story there of how you got that moniker?
So actually, it was one of my football coaches, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I previously thought it was my grandma, but my mom reminded me it was actually one of my football coaches. So it actually started off as a boogie,
Okay.
but as the years it's like slim to boogie, like all those things. So it's like I just let people run with it. But I used to juke kids at their socks. Yeah, I used to dance also a lot. So it was like it like went hand in hand, and it just started from there.
Nice. And of course, you're one of the guys on this team that has those Texas roots. Yeah. What is it about Texas players that are just make them different, make them kind of a cut different than players from anybody else or anywhere else in the country?
I think it's a little bit of everything. I think development, size, the people that came from Texas. So it's like role models that we look up to. I just think it's a little bit of everything when it comes to Texas kids. We have the resources, we have the coaches, we have the outlets, the media outlets. So it's like, as a kid in Texas, if you're not playing some type of sport, you're kind of wrong, right? So it's like the competitive nature just come from that, just being in school, playing basketball at recess, playing football at recess, and it just stems from there.
At what point, after you started playing football, you mentioned kind of maybe around 7. At what point did you realize like you were really good and that your ability in the sport could perhaps take you to the next level and get you to college?
Um, Honestly, I like had obviously all kids have a dream, but I was just like, I'm playing the NFL when I was like obviously when I first started playing. But I would say when I really realized like I could be something is probably like my 7th grade year. Like I've always been somewhat good at football, right? But like I think it finally clicked like, hey, I'm kind of better than all these kids. And so that's really it. And like I was kind of like playing, not always playing up, but like when it came to like playing around with big kids or things like this, like people older than me, I was always holding my own. So I was like, you know what? I might actually, do something with this.
And then, obviously, playing at that safety position, a lot of responsibilities. You
Yeah.
got to be pretty versatile. What's your favorite part of playing on that back line?
Uh, Honestly, I think my favorite part, like it used to be tackling, right? But now I'm a tackle, so I can't say that. But I would say honestly now, I haven't showcased it a lot, but I really love to play man coverage. Like I really, really love to play man coverage. And I think hopefully I get to play more of it this year.
What's your favorite hit that you've ever delivered?
My favorite hit. Uh it would have to be so there's one I'm gonna say one from this year. Us versus Texas State, my first tackle. When I like came down and just smacked the running back. He was actually my previous teammate too. But when I came down and smacked him, and then another one would be I guess you could say my redshirt freshman year at Washington State. I like lifted a kid. I like, lifted the running back. I like, came across the edge. Well, at first I pointed the play out. I told him he was going to motion. He motioned, and he got the ball, and then I tackled him.
Nice.
So that I would say that's my second.
So obviously, there's a lot on your plate as a college football player with the academic requirements, the athletic
Yeah.
stuff. Of course, this modern college landscape, some other things as well. What are the things that drive you and that kind of push you through the day in day out grind of of all the things that are asked of the modern student athlete?
I would say one, my family. A lot of people believed in me. Like even growing up, I really didn't have a lot. Like my mom made a way for every time I needed something, but really didn't have a lot. But there was like a lot of people on the outside that like just believed in me as a person and as an athlete. So they, invested a lot in me. So I would say a lot of people that helped me along the way, my family, my friends, the people who aren't blood but treat me like I am blood. And then I would say my Lord and Savior, for giving me the ability to do the things that I can do. Like a lot of people wish to, be able to backpedal the way I backpedal, or to tackle the way I tackle, or to be as fast as me. So I have to say that. Have to say the Lord. And then I would say honestly, just to love the game. Like a lot of people, a lot of people don't have the ability to play the game that we love to play. And it's like I have the ability, so I might as well maximize it now. And I gotta take every day and attack it every day.
So of course the requirements of being a college football player are pretty extensive, but in those rare moments when you're not having to play or be in the facility or doing schoolwork, what are some of your interests out there? I mean, you mentioned bowling. You're proficient, with the bowling in the 200s, but what are some of the interests that make up Adrian Wilson?
I would say bowling, gaming, but it just depends. I don't really like gaming with myself. I don't like gaming by myself. I like gaming with like some of my teammates or whatnot. So I would say like gaming, like doing things with my teammates. So it could be shopping, it could be eating, it could just be hanging out. Um, that's really it. Gaming, bowling, hanging out with my teammates, eating, eating great food. We eat a lot, actually. We eat a lot. And just spending time with each other, yeah.
All right, so as somebody who eats a lot, well, what are some of the your favorite places around Tempe?
Oh man. I like 333. I've been there multiple times. I obviously like McDonald's here and there. Um, where else have we eaten? Zoos is like a sushi place, a sushi spot on Scottsdale Road. We just had guest house just like past weekend, and then like we just go to like a lot of the steakhouses like all around. So a little bit of everything. But for me right now, sushi is my number one right now. So I would say Zoos or Uchi.
Okay, good deal, good deal. And it seems like as you mentioned, a lot of your interests are kind of stuff with your teammates and building that chemistry, that
Yeah.
rapport, and strengthening those bonds. Now that you're kind of one of those returners, and one is coming back as a returning starter, how have you seen yourself, kind of growing into more of a leadership role on this 26 roster?
Honestly, I feel like I've always just been this, like what I am. Like I'm always invite, no matter who you are, I'm gonna invite you. Like if we're all doing something and I'm inviting people around, oh, you want to come too? Like you can come hang out with us. Like you can, like you can be with us. Like it doesn't really matter. Not a lot of people take us up on the offer, but like it's just, I just feel like nothing has changed in a sense. Like I'm just me. You know, I just happen to have leadership qualities that I'm blessed with.
A lot of new defensive backs, especially new safeties coming in through the transfer portal. Lyric amongst them, and Josiah, some other guys as well. A lot of new faces. What's is one of the returners? What's some of the impressions and your view of these new safeties?
They all have their own personality. They're all fun in their own ways. Like me and AJ, we've been like just having like just talks about like just comparing basically places. So like him talking about Penn State, me talking about Washington State, me talking about here, having good conversations like that. I would say Josiah today, he was lifting and he was on the leaderboard. He was number one on the leaderboard for most of the lift. And I'm just like, oh, okay, okay, boy, like, okay. Um, and I would just say lyric, like just being, like just understanding like the realm of life when it comes to being an athlete, obviously. And I think it's his last year. In his last year, he just like low key. I like kind of like still look up to him like as low key as like a big brother because he's been around. He knows the game. He understands the game. He has the qualities. Like like so it's like when it comes to certain things, when it comes to like leadership things, I kind of still sit and like turn to him like that was cool. Like like critique me on this, critique me on that. Like, what should I do here? What should I do that? So it's like,
Nice.
little bit of everything.
So now with Ghost going on to the NFL, who gets the title now of hardest hitter on the team?
Oh, I don't want to take it, but might be me. Nah,
The
but if you turn on lyric tape, he might got
Okay.
it. He might got it. Lyric can tackle.
All right, so stuff to watch for here in spring ball.
Montana Warren can hit too.
He hits with like no regard for the opponent or his
Nobody.
own body. Like
Exactly. So
yeah, the dude flies around.
yeah. So It's an argument between Lyric and Montana, the East Texas boys.
All right. So, kind of on the flip side, you kind of broke it down some of the safeties, in your time now, looking at the Sun Devil offense, who were some of the toughest wide receivers to watch out for in 2026?
I always got to say Ladie, Derek Eusebio. He really, he really one of the ones. Nobody really know, but like we all know that he really one of the ones. But obviously, Amarion Miller. If we turn on the tape, you can say how he caught a touchdown in man coverage. I really wasn't paying attention, but not I wasn't paying attention, but I wasn't prepared. I was still like communicating with the defense when they said hut. So that's really why I got beat on that. But I'm not gonna make no excuses. But obviously, Amarion Miller, obviously Reed, obviously Raiden, but we also got Corey Butler. We got Harry Hassman. We got a lot of good receivers, a lot of good pieces. And then we're on the running backs. We got Man, we got Sip, we got we got JB, we got them all, and then we got on the quarterbacks. We just gonna see what can happen with Cutter and little Mikey, or Big Mikey, I could say.
So one of the things that Brian Ward told me a couple of years ago is that, with his defensive scheme, that it's that second year where you see guys really start to get comfortable, really start to explode. I mean, like, and then, personally, I look at the jump that like Keyshawn and Jordan Crook, for example, made in their second year in that defense. Just, as he said, they know the why of the defense, and you're heading into your second year in Tempe. How do you feel that you've kind of, are learning the why of this defense and your comfort within the scheme, and perhaps, the impact that can have on the field?
I'm very comfortable. We be having like little like us. We like be scheduling walkthroughs as players, and I will keep you out there just coaching. Like as much as I'm on the team and I'm a player, I'll be out there coaching every position, making sure we understand why we're doing this, understand the formation, understand the personnel, understand the down and distance and all those things. So it's like, honestly, I would say being in this defense is probably expand my IQ, and being around Coach Ward expand my football IQ 1,000 times more than what it was.
And then just a few weeks away now from spring ball, what are some of the things that you want to accomplish, and you and leading that safety group out there want to accomplish over those 15 practices?
I want to make sure we all gel together and understand that we need each other to be great. And I just want to become more of a leader and make sure I'm being a role model for all the youngins and all the freshmen that, this is their first time experiencing something of the sorts. So make sure just, be a good leader, be a good person, and have fun working harder than everybody else in the country.
And then the last one for you, obviously you guys want to, win them all, go 16-0. And that's ultimately the metric that, is success. But what are some other things? What else would go into a successful 2026 season that you could kind of look back on and, look back at with appreciation?
Beating a team in the dirty T. Beating them. I would say also just keeping everybody healthy, everybody playing the whole season. Creating a brotherhood that's unbreakable that we're going to talk about in the next 30 years, And other than that, I would say going 16-0 and bringing the chip back, winning the Big 12.
I'd like to thank Boogie for taking the time to talk with me for this episode. Make sure you are subscribed to Speak of the Devils on YouTube and podcast platforms everywhere for more great sit-down series episodes all off-season long. And make sure to follow me on all things social media at bdenny29.